Hello again. You know, doing virtual speech therapy makes you thirsty, so always keep your water close by. All right, in this session, I am talking about setting up and scheduling the telepractice program or virtual speech therapy. Now, again, when I started doing this, it was more for my students in school, and now I'm setting it up with my parents to do the services at home for homeschool. So I have just four main tips for setting up and scheduling. Number one, again, most people don't know what telepractice means, but they can kind of understand what virtual means, but still not have a concept of what that is. How does that work? How do you do speech therapy, here at home? And I've had a few parents ask, ask their teacher, oh, how's he going to get his speech services? Is he going to get them during this shutdown? And I'll just say, hey, I'm already working on that. So what I put together is what I call a virtual speech therapy survey. It is a Google form. I use a lot of Google's products because who runs the world? Google. All right. So I made a survey form, and on that form, I put questions on there just to get information from the parents. Do you have internet at home? Because we want to try to keep things as fair as possible. I know on the education side of this homeschool remote education thing, being fair is important, which it is. And so doing online activities and sessions versus paper and pencil ones is a big deal. However, for us, for speech services, doing paper and pencil and work packets doesn't count as a speech session. So it's handy to give to your, I'm going off on a tangent, but I'm just going to finish it and come on back. So giving paper and pencil packets is handy to give to your students to practice, but they may or may not even do it and doesn't count as a session. So in order to stay compliant as you can with your services, with our services, we have to do these virtual sessions. Okay, so now with that said, back to the survey. On my survey, other than identifying information, I have, do you have internet? Do you want virtual speech therapy services? That's an important question because sometimes parents might feel like they have to do it, but it may not fit in their lives at home. So when I send the survey out, I do say, hey, look, this is a choice. I'm offering these services. I understand that if you got to prioritize so many things, it may not work for you. Boom, that's it. Okay. So now, I ask about what technology, what equipment they have at home. Do they have iPad? I just say, check everything that you have. iPad, tablet, computer, cell phone, smartphone, Chromebook. Just let me know what equipment you have. So that way I know kind of, what recommendations I can make as far as what to use at home without, looking down. Like, you don't have to have a computer. You don't have a computer? No, you don't. But it is best to do the services on a computer if you can. Another one of, excuse me. Another one of my questions is about what type of audio visual software you have. Do you have one of those devices have a working camera, a working two-way camera that works? Microphone, headset, earbud, earpiece, whatever, because all these things most people have. And that's another reason why I didn't really want to go out and invest a lot of money and buy my own headphones that are, had the mouthpiece, because when I'm then talking to students at home, I want them to see that, and their parents to see that they already have the equipment they need. Everybody has these things that come with your phone, or they've bought something to update it. Also, I'm asking, when's the best time to do sessions? Now, I'm going to schedule them based on other information that I get, but I'm asking the parent, give me, when's the best time for you? Between 8 and 11 or 1 and 4? Just give them some preset times. My final question is asking about consent. By submitting this survey, do you give consent to set up and receive virtual speech therapy services? Yes or no? Because I do want to have in writing somewhere that, the parent definitely wants these services and they're okay with it. Okay. Next, I need information from the teachers because a lot of the students do have live academic sessions or groups or time scheduled with their teachers. And just like in school, I got to work around those academic sessions as far as scheduling the speech. So I email the teachers, their regular ed teacher and their resource teacher if they get the resource academic services, just to say, let me know what your schedule is for when you're seeing my students blank, blank, blank. And then I just to keep that in mind for working around. Now, one of the benefits, y'all, of doing the services with students who are homeschooled outside of school is that there is so much more flexibility. You all know, for those of us who work in the schools, how hard it is to get a kid for speech because you can't take them out of reading, writing, math, PE, recess, lunch, nap, depending on how old they are. So we have a lot more flexibility, and the parents are understanding of that too. So the third thing that I do to get ready and set up for my sessions is to organize my materials. Now, I find that there's a variety of sources. One resource that I use for materials a lot is boomlearning.com. Boom cards. That's boom, BOOM. Those are interactive flashcards, and they have lots and lots of decks of cards on their site that it's a point system. You use your money to buy points and you use the points to buy different decks of cards into your library. So you can have a huge library of decks, and it doesn't make your work bag any heavier. Remember those days when we were carrying around actual little tin boxes of decks of cards, and you'd be at one place needing your S deck, and it's at the other school? The good old days. So Boom Learning, that's one site that I use, and you can screen share that. Another thing that I use is a lot of non-printables like PDFs, JPEG pictures, Word docs, and you've probably already seen some webinars talking about how to make these materials and where to buy them. Some of them I make just in good old Word document or PowerPoint and make it into a PDF. And then some of them I just buy on Teachers Pay Teachers. We all know that site. Go get those sources, the non-printables as they are called, and set them up and get them ready for each session. I use the flash drives a lot because we have a lot of storage needs, right? This flash drive is where I keep all of my clinical papers, my templates, my documents that I need for services. And then this flash drive is just for activities. And on here, I have my activities organized by the need. So I got an articulation file. I have flashcard file. I have language file. I have, expressive language or receptive language. I have them organized on here so that when I'm getting ready for my day of sessions and I know who I have scheduled, I'm really just going to keep it simple, y'all. Choose one articulation activity that I like. Choose one language activity that I like and have it open, have it ready, get my tabs open and everything on the computer and do that and adapt it, a little bit differently for each student's needs. Do what you do already in your sessions at school with your students at home. Now I know some things are going to take a little bit more adapting, like if you work with the self-contained, severe and profound population, transitioning from your activities where you may do a lot of concrete options and items in their classroom to something on the computer. That's a little bit different when you're working with that population or the early intervention population, the pre-K. Most of your speech services are going to be with the parent, coaching them and, trying to get the student to engage with them more importantly than you, but also using things in their environment. So that'll take a little bit more prep, having your parents, get something round, get something that they like to put in or take out. Because we're going to focus in this next session on put in, take out, open it, close it. So something that they have concrete on their end ready. So the bottom line is for getting your materials together to get ready, just organize your stuff, organize the non-printables that you're using, organize the tabs that you want to have open on your computer that you're going to screen share, and plan with the parent ahead of time and just do what you like to do and what you feel comfortable using. Like I said, pick one site, Pick one artic activity. Pick one language activity. KISS. Keep it simple, sister. All right. Another thing to be ready is your notepad, your pen, you know. Some of the platforms may keep the time, but I like to keep my own time. So I'll have my phone usually, but because I'm on the set, I don't have it right now. But I'll keep my time on the phone so that when the timer goes off, you know, we start wrapping up our session, we're done. But I have my notepad to take notes. Okay. So these are the things to set up, schedule, and get your virtual speech therapy program together. Whew, boy, I'm thirsty.